Alright, so, like, legitimately, though,
I must
whom's
admit,
the fuck decided
this
eating
is
ass was a
pretty,
good idea?
um,
Like,
this is pretty,
bro, who wanted to
interesting.
stick their
I
tongue
was pretty
in
nervous to
someone's
come on here
brown eye?
initially.
Like, why? Why is that a thing?
I've got
We've
some
got vagina
things we need
for
to
a
talk about,
reason.
Michael.
We don't need to be
This is,
eating ass. People
this could
don't
be
even eat
considered even
vegetables, but
an
they'll go out there and eat
intervention if
ass?
you
I mean,
really wanna
how?
consider that.
How is that
Um,
viable? Why is this a thing? I
oof.
hate this
Alright,
generation. We're
you know
focusing
what?
on ass. We
Dude,
need to focus
stop
on life.
talking.
Alright.
Stop talking.
Alright. As I was saying, this is an intervention, Michael.
Fair enough.
It's time for you to face your crimes. You've committed some great crimes, Michael.
You must inform me of these crimes, as I am unaware of what crimes we're talking about.
Well, I mean,
Also,
you've committed several crimes, but what's up?
Before we continue, I want to say welcome everyone to the 5th episode of Dude Stop Talking. Jonas here has
Howdy.
he or Lucenium, my bad. I'm sorry, I got to keep the lore going. For those of you who don't know, he showed up to my house today. Took a bat, beat me over the head with it, threw me in his trunk, drove me to a secluded area. I am currently in a basement, I assume, tied to a chair.
There's no basements in Texas. You're retarded.
There are basements in Texas. There are absolutely basements in Texas.
You know, we've had this entire discussion before. This is why I took you.
Regardless, warehouse, maybe, I don't know, but he's staging it as an intervention. Anyway, continue.
See, as I pace around you, I take a sip of my water.
What is this? I don't like the auditory role play here.
And I stare down at you with my intimidating eyes.
I woo with passion.
Michael, I say.
I don't. Why?
You have to understand. There's nowhere left for you to turn. I continue pacing. You have to confront your deepest, darkest fears, Michael.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do the narration part, but no, I don't wanna.
You know what? Don't make me go there.
Go
Don't make me go there.
Under there?
We I wasn't kidding when I said I'd make you very uncomfortable.
I urge you to try.
We have to talk about New Year's Eve.
I no longer wish to have this communication.
Are you sure, Michael?
You know, you pulled out your Exodia there. I'm not doing that.
I'm just fucking around.
Oh no, I believed you. I do not think you would be that kind of guy.
No. God, I had you going there though.
No, I'm joking. All right, so what happened New Year's was I was alone, and I decided that what? No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, that's too much. That's too much.
This is a whimsical podcast. None of that dorkness. Anywho.
Yeah.
So you're taking the reins here, clearly, because again, tied to a chair in a warehouse.
Yes. I'm a top, and even if I wasn't a top, I'd be a power bottom.
Oh,
and that's the way it is. All right.
Okay.
All right, Michael. Okay, Michael.
I mean, I want you to understand. I'm a bisexual man and a top. Jonas, don't give me the opportunity here.
I understand. I'm not giving you the opportunity.
Boy, you gonna make me do something I'm gonna regret. Finna make me act up.
Fuck you. Act it the fuck down. You calm the fuck down.
Nah, it's too late. Too late.
What was that? What was that video? It was fucking critical where he's like, "It's a misinput.
Misinput! Misinput! Calm down!
You calm the fuck down." Even when he's excited, he's monotone as fuck, and it's amazing.
Have you okay, speaking of critical, have you seen all of the videos of people who like vaguely look like him but are from like another country or some shit?
I've seen a couple of those. They're so great.
Like Mexican critical and Asian critical.
Reminds me of I watched Some Ordinary Gamers, Mudahar. Just if there's just a bearded Indian man, everyone's like, "Oh my god, I found Muda."
All of those words mean absolutely nothing to me, but I'm gonna smile and nod.
Muda, you really? So you've watched Critical, but you've never seen Some Ordinary Gamers?
Nope.
Oh man, he's great.
I'm
He's a chubby Indian gamer guy.
gonna be honest with you. All of Critical's content I consume is either through memes or compilations.
Oh, you've seen Muda then. He had the really fucking weird laugh. He's a chubby guy who has an insane laugh. Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, the Muda laugh was a huge meme for a while.
He's
It was
got
pretty
like
good.
he's got like the baseball cap on, and he's like in his
Yes.
room. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's the one. I love that guy. I watched him for years. I still watch him. I've watched him since he was at about 100,000, and he's God. I don't even know how many subscribers he's at
100,000
now.
pounds. Damn.
That's how much money he makes a video.
I don't like that you turned my joke around and made it something literal. Damn
let's
it.
see. Mudahar. Let's see.
I'm not quick-witted enough for you.
Oh, so I've been watching him since about 100,000 pounds, right? And he is at 3.07 million.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, you know.
Damn, boy, he thick, boy.
Oh, we're quoting Anthony Fantano now, are we? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a thick ass boy.
What? We just gonna do references?
You don't understand. You've actually talked to me a lot less than you think you have. I truly believe you do not have as good a grasp of my personality as you think you do.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with you, because most of the time we talk is either talking about podcast things or when we're all in a group. Like I've never, you and I have never sat down and had a conversation. You know what? Hand on desk, chin on palm. My man, tell me, who is Jonas?
Oh well, Jonas is a fucking maniac.
I can see that.
No, but in reality, that's partially intentional, partially unintentional. I've unintentionally created a sort of shell for myself because some shit went down in high school, and see, the thing is, I am a very, very perceptive person. I am extremely observant, and because of that, I try to shape how other people see me, not in like a manipulative way, but like first impressions, I control my first impression. I don't necessarily choose my words very carefully, but I put myself in a frame of mind to become who I want people to see me as constantly. Okay. Something I've gotten really good at over the years is bullshitting my way through any topic. I can sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about despite having never heard of it. It's insane.
Yeah.
Most of the shit y'all talk about, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know, I myself have been trying to work on that skill because I don't know jack shit about anything.
It's a very good skill. It's actually how I learn a lot of things, is because I just pose myself as a really good listener, and I am a really good listener. I like listening to people who are passionate about things talk about them. And I mean, it's only fair because I force people to listen to me for hours on end. I apologize to my girlfriend.
Yeah, poor Carl.
Poor Carl. She's
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me about the
original topic.
No, was it Hideo Kojima?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. That reminds me because I know you told her that, or you told me that you told her that story. I can't words. You told her that story multiple times.
I have. It's a very cool story. So basically, you know who Hideo Kojima is.
Yes, of course. For those
Man,
of you who don't know,
um,
he's an Asian man. Okay, cool. Enough context.
um, he's a gamer guy with absolutely impeccable taste in music. Did you know
Mhm.
he actually canonically enjoys Bring Me the Horizon?
Really?
Yes,
That's awesome.
it's incredible. If
Okay,
you
wait, hang
follow
on, hang on. Like modern Bring Me the Horizon or like old Horizon?
like old Horizon, dude, he listens to some of the heaviest shit I have ever seen. Sometimes I
That's
was like,
dope
what the
as
hell?
fuck.
Yeah, so he's actually broadened his range of music recently, but
Hmm.
he used to initially so he'll post screenshots on Twitter of just whatever he's listening to on Spotify.
Hmm.
And that'll just be so no, he doesn't post screenshots. He uses like a professional camera to take an image of his phone on whatever song is playing, which is the most Hideo Kojima thing I can think of.
Yeah, well, when you've got the money, yeah.
Right? And so he'll post that. I've honestly found some great music through him. It's awesome. That was back when I had Twitter. I deleted it about a year and a half ago,
Yeah, yeah.
and then re-downloaded it for about 2 weeks, and then my phone uh, bit the dust, so I haven't re-downloaded it.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm just not a social media guy in general, so I don't.
Same. Yeah, but he's really cool. But essentially, Hideo Kojima, he made a game back in the '80s called Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's a pretty obscure game. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it.
So actually,
Yeah.
the first Metal Gear is a lot more obscure than most people would think.
Oh, I bet.
Because I didn't even know it existed until I'd beaten all the Metal Gear Solid games. I was like, what the fuck? What is this Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2? For the NES, I was like, what the hell is this?
The fuck is this shit?
And then I played it, and it's an NES game. They are both NES games, and they are about the quality of NES games as you would
Yeah.
expect.
I mean, NES games are good though. A lot of them.
Um,
Don't. You're gonna
I'm
start an
not.
argument here.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing.
Okay.
I'm just saying you can't make that blanket statement.
No, no. I mean, again, most of it from me comes from nostalgia, so that's fair.
Yeah. You can't really make that blanket statement because you've got your Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, your
Your
Zelders.
yeah, but then you've got Adventure of Link, which I love Zelda. I hate that game.
Yeah, I think yeah, cause it's very different.
I don't even hate that it's different. It's just like who the fuck sat there and said, "Hey, let's um let's make this game bullshit."
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. This is a majority of the games, even the ones I haven't played, I know are really fucking good.
Well, so yes, but also have I mean you I'm sure you've watched The Angry Video Game Nerd at some point.
Uh, this is gonna disappoint you to hear, but no.
You have it. Do you know who he is?
I know of him. Yes.
Oh my god, yeah, his name's James Rolfe and he's the Angry Video Game Nerd. The man is incredible. He is the most vulgar yet most wholesome man I have ever seen on the interwebs
The
because
only
he's like got the Waz. I'm not sure if you've heard of him either.
I've heard of, again, not watched.
Oh my god. Their production I've watched them since almost like the very beginning of their channels.
Mhm.
Scott the Waz has literally had the exact same quality of writing and filming since his very beginning. And Angry Video Game Nerd is actually on a channel called Cinemassacre. It's a series on that channel.
Yeah.
No, not a lot of people know that.
Shout out to those guys who are
yeah.
also never going to hear or anything of
Yeah,
this.
absolutely not. Dude, James Rolfe, what I like about him is I literally know nothing about him. I've watched this man for upwards of like 200 episodes of his content, and I know nothing about his personal life. And I think that's really smart of him, and honestly really cool because like he's it's smart, you know.
Yeah, he just keeps his
Yeah.
angry video game nerd
Yeah.
persona going.
Even when he like, so he talked about in 2016, he was like, "I'm not seeing the new Ghostbusters." It was back when it was the all girl reboot thing,
Mm-hmm.
and people got really pissed because they were like, "Oh, you sexist fuck!"
Yeah. Yeah.
He
And that's all he
actually,
said too. Like he didn't dig like rag on it. He just said I'm not watching it.
so no, I watched the video where he said that. He had a very interesting reason for not watching it. That if people stopped for 2 seconds and listened to it, they would have been like, "Oh, this is a real person."
No one cares.
His
No one's
his,
gonna get
his entire reason for watching it is because of the title of the movie. Because it's just Ghostbusters. He was like, "You cannot sit there and name your movie Ghostbusters and expect me to go watch it, knowing I'll have the same goddamn expectations as walking into the original Ghostbusters. That is borderline plagiarism."
Oh, I see.
And I was like, man, that's a really good reason. And I think to this day, he still has not seen it.
I
He's
mean, yeah,
his,
gotta
his
stick.
whole thing is like, that's disrespectful.
It's
I
the
was like,
principle.
damn, he's got a point. It is kind of hella disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. It is because it's literally I think just like a cash grab because they're like, look, it's Ghostbusters
Oh,
nostalgia. You like it?
it is 100%, which is why I'm not sure if you saw the new Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Mm-mm.
You should. That movie is. I mean, if you ever enjoyed the first two Ghostbusters,
I only saw the first one.
that's fine. I don't think they go into the second one very much.
Mm.
Um, second one was kind of. I enjoy it a lot for nostalgia purposes, but when I look back on it, that is not a great movie.
What's
It
wrong
is
with it?
it is just sloppy and like the production value went down like all the way.
Oh
Oh
boy.
man, it's hilarious. It's still really funny. I mean, you can't those four guys, you can't put them together and expect it to not be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Um fuck, even like specifically just Bill Murray, he's funny.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, this new one is really good because Harold Ramis died, Egon.
yeah, yeah.
And so what they do is this whole movie is about his legacy.
Oh, okay.
And like I'm just gonna say like I used to think I didn't cry very easily. Recently I start to think I cry very easily. Um maybe I've just gotten more
Fucking pussy.
maybe I've just gotten more in tune with my emotions.
Uh-huh.
But dude, I was like a fucking baby. Bro, I was in the theater. It was literally just my family because whenever there's a big movie release, we rent out a theater.
Jesus,
Um,
okay.
well, because
Flex on us, why don't you?
there's like normally when there's a big movie release, there's like 12 or 13 of us who want to see it at once, so we'll just rent out a theater. It's $100.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's
So
cheap.
it's not just like four people or five
No,
people.
no, it's
Okay.
normally at least 10 to 15 people. The max is like 20. I think there's only been one time we've actually filled that though. I want to say that was for Godzilla. Godzilla versus Kong when that came out about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good movie.
Incredible movie. Yeah, I love that movie. But yeah, no, Ghostbusters. I was just sitting there in the theater, it was literally just me and my family, and I was like, "Fuck, no, God."
uh,
Yeah, it's like it's not even that it's sad. It's just it's really heartwarming.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a bit where they pay tribute to Harold Ramis at the end, and it's just oh man, beautiful, beautiful, great movie. Like it's an actually good movie outside of that. Like if that was just a standalone Ghostbusters movie, I'd watch the hell out of it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I I will check it out. Most of the things you recommend to me, I'm pretty down with. So I will take your word in good faith. I will check this movie out.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. It's a great movie. Man. Of course, you didn't like the new Suicide Squad, which really makes me question your taste in
Yeah,
everything.
it wasn't funny.
I
Like
truly don't see what you mean. Like,
I said, the only
maybe we just have truly different sense of humors, but what caught me off guard was you saying it was the same sense of humor as the first one. It is not in the
it
slightest.
really is though.
It's
Like
really not.
if you say so, man. The only thing I found like remotely funny was like Weasel Man, and that was about it.
See, I didn't find him very funny, to be completely honest. To me, that felt like the kind of humor that would be in the first one.
I don't know. I just because like all of John Cena's jokes were not great, and
You're telling me you don't like John Cena wearing tidy whities? I
no.
think that's a pretty funny image in and
I
of itself.
also I also liked King Shark.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
great.
We can agree on there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't great. Like I don't hate it. It just wasn't great.
You know what? I will accept that. I will respectfully disagree on this topic.
We can respectfully disagree. We can agree to
Mhm.
disagree.
Yep.
We have somehow now managed to get completely, and that's the whole premise of this podcast. But we've managed to go as far as possible from Hideo Kojima and that entire.
Well, have
I mean, we did.
this is all basically 80s nostalgia is what we've been doing
Yeah,
here. And I mean, Hideo Kojima pretty much encapsulates 80s nostalgia pretty
yeah,
well.
pretty much. But like, what did happen? Because I don't. All I know is did
Okay,
he get
so
removed or did
so
he leave on his
basically,
own?
once again, Hideo Kojima created all the Metal Gear games and all of the Metal Gear Solid games. Yes, those are two different series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he was halfway through making Metal Gear Solid 4, I believe, when they came to him about working on a potential Silent Hill project, which,
Was that
well,
PT?
I will get to PT.
Okay.
PT is a very big part of this story.
Yeah, because I remember like PT was a huge deal, and then it just kind of disappeared out of nowhere. Because like Norman Reedus was supposed to be in it too, right? Or was it uh what's his name? I can't remember his name.
This will all come up, including the
Okay,
actors and various people
but yeah, go
who were
go
going
for
to
it.
be a part of this. So basically, they approach him about a new Silent
Mads
Hill
Mikkelsen.
game.
That's who it was. Is it him?
They approach Hideo Kojima about making
Okay,
a
yep.
new Silent Hills game, and it's going to be the fifth numbered entry,
Hmm.
which is a huge deal. For those of you who don't know, the original Silent Hill games were produced by a team called Team Silent. I could go into their history, but we would be here for a lot longer than I'm willing to edit. Really interesting stuff. I recommend looking into them and their history. YouTuber Nakey Jakey has a really good video about them and the first two Silent Hill games. Um, so check that out. But basically, they created the first four Silent Hill games. The fourth one did not do so well, so the Konami said, "Go fuck yourself," and gave the IP to some American companies, to which were created the Silent Hill games, I believe. Origin, Downpour, Shattered Memories, and maybe one other. I'm not super familiar with the American made ones. And they were infinitely less good than the first Silent Hills 1 through 4. And so the big thing with this new game that Kojima was producing was that it was going to be Silent Hill 5. Because they had a lot of the original Team Silent back on board with it.
Mhm.
And it was really exciting when it got leaked. I was hyped as fuck because Silent Hill 2 is my favorite game of all time. And despite all the hate for it, I have loved Silent Hill 4. It probably deserves a lot of the hate it gets, but I like it anyways.
Mhm.
I enjoy it. But so he starts working on it after he finishes Metal Gear Solid 4. He manages to get famous horror mangaka, which means manga artist, Junji Ito on board
Oh,
to do the creature designs. Um, Junji Ito, for those of you who don't know, is someone who I can't talk about for very long because it makes me sick because of
yeah.
how much he scares me.
Yeah, that man, he's got a twisted mind.
He has a twisted mind. Oh my, yeah, that is some of the stuff, that is some of like the only stuff that I think has genuinely kept me up at night.
Yeah, but for context, he's a manga artist who does primarily like horror related things, and it's I don't know how to explain it. It's
It
very
generally, the art style is very ugly.
mm-hmm.
By design. It's very ugly, and the type of stories he illustrates typically revolve around human nature feeding upon itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is extremely terrifying.
Yeah, I would highly recommend looking up like just his art style, if not actually reading some of the
um,
mangas that he's illustrated.
if you do read some of his mangas, but because I don't scare easily, he terrifies me to an extent where I genuinely refuse to read more than what I've already read.
Mm-hmm.
Because I enjoy sleeping.
Yeah.
And so something lighter I would recommend is his Tomie,
Mm-hmm.
Tomie. Those are some less terrifying works of his. They still have his general sense of dread, but it's just a lot less scary. Man.
Yeah, that man is.
So
But yeah, they brought him on board.
they brought him on board with the original Team Silent, and there actually is a trailer where he did design a specific creature. Man, it's an old teaser. It's called like the Silent Hills teaser. You're not gonna find a good quality version of it on the internet, but it's out there. It's really
It's
good.
this is it's like it's so interesting to me because like this sounds like it would have been absolutely amazing having the original team, having Junji Ito on there. Like,
Oh,
all right,
I'm not
I'll
done
let you
yet.
continue because
I'm
like
not done yet. As well as co-monster designer and co-writer, they brought on Guillermo del Toro,
oh Jesus Christ,
which
wow.
if you don't know who Guillermo del Toro is, go watch Hellboy. Not the new one, the old one. Just
I
go watch it and tell me
just
you
saw
don't fall
his
in love.
recent film. I saw his recent
Nightmare
film.
Alley, right?
No, Nightmare Alley. Yeah,
Oh, I've heard great things. I'm gonna go see it soon.
it's good. It's good. Highly
Okay.
recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard great things. The man is a god at monster design,
Mm-hmm.
as well as just writing really good stories. Like I love the first two Hellboy movies. I love Pan's Labyrinth. I love what was that one? There was one called Antlers somewhat recently that was really good.
Mm-hmm. That's the Wendigo one, right?
Yeah, it's the one with the Wendigo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whew, that was really good. He does a lot of indie art house type films, but it's all like really high production because he just has an eye for that sort of thing. Highly recommend. Go check him out. Go check out. This is the shout out episode.
Shout out episode.
You know what? Shout out to everyone but Konami. Konami, go fuck
Go
yourself.
fuck yourself, Konami.
I haven't mentioned it. Konami is the company that all these games I've been mentioning are made under. Silent Hill, Metal Gear. They own Hideo Kojima at this point.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
They actually begin production and make it through the engine. They're actually using a modified version of the Metal Gear engine, which I believe is called the Fox engine.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong there. It's been years. But this is all circa 2012.
Yeah.
Somewhere between there, because at the moment this is just kind of a side project that he needs to start working on while he's doing other stuff. He begins working on Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Which, just a side note, the way he announced that game was incredible. He dressed up as a mummy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or well, he was wrapped in bandages, right? And they showed the trailer for it without showing Solid Snake at all. Only showing gameplay somehow without him. Not showing Hideo Kojima or Konami's name anywhere. In fact, he pretended it was a different company entirely. I think it was like Moby Dick Studios was what he called it.
Wow.
And then at the end of the trailer, he unwrapped himself and was like, "Psych, it's Metal Gear 5, bitch." And everyone just absolutely lost their shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's an incredible game right there. It's not.
Yeah.
But it is.
I mean, no, it is a good game. I
There's
enjoyed it.
yes, it is a very good game for what it is, and that's what I'm going to go into next.
Yeah, because it wasn't. I'm sorry that I keep cutting you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. But it wasn't like completely finished, right? Like that's what it was.
Yeah, something like that. And so they're working on these projects, and while this is happening, Konami undergoes a change in management. To some new guy who was like, "Why are we putting all these money into these big budget products when we got this tiny ass phone game that made like $100 million in a couple months? Like, what the fuck are we doing?" So they're like, "All right, Kojima, we're gonna start cutting your budget so we can put it more towards these more lucrative games." And Kojima's like, "Why though?" And they're like, "Because your project isn't gonna make as much money as these games." And he's like, "But it'll build a loyal fan base, which will get you more money in the long run." And they're like, "I don't care about the long run, Kojima-san.
I want money now.
I want my fucking money. Bitch better got my money." And so he's like, "You know what? Okay, that's fine. I will work with what I have."
Right. As a
As
responsible man does.
Yep. And then Konami was like, "You know what are we even doing? No, fuck you. Let's cancel this Silent Hill project." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "If you cancel this project, I'm leaving." They're like, "Okay, you cost too much money anyways. Bye."
Wow. So wait, they canceled.
Finish your game and then leave. Finish Metal Gear is what they said. What's
so
up?
sorry to interrupt again, but so okay. So the whole reason that Silent Hill got canceled was because they wanted to focus on their mobile game instead because it was costing too much money.
They wanted to focus on the mobile game market.
That is fucking retarded.
And so Kojima's like,
Oh
"All right,
God.
I'm gonna finish what I can on Metal Gear, and then I'll leave." Unbeknownst to the management, he starts diverting funds away from Metal Gear to create what I've always called his "fuck you" to Konami.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, at this point, no part of Silent Hills has been released other than that small teaser trailer.
Yeah.
This is around early 2013, or late 2013, actually. And he starts diverting a lot of funds because it turns out this fuck you to Konami is going to be big. And he ends up actually releasing Metal Gear 5 in a completely unfinished state.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get to finish the story. He didn't get to finish the gameplay. Nothing was finished. He didn't care. It was playable. And you know what? Even though it was unfinished, it still won like hella awards, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is just goes to show you how talented this man is, even when he doesn't give a shit. Like, oh man.
Like if anybody else were to release an unfinished game, they'd get raked through the coals.
Yeah, have you ever played No Man's Sky? Like,
yeah.
Have you ever played Cyberpunk? Like,
yeah, oh boy.
Cyberpunk started a whole new trend of fuck you, we're ripping your game off the internet entirely. God, yeah, I remember that Sony like took their game off its store.
Oh yeah, the store. Yeah, they removed it completely. They were giving refunds too.
That was so bonkers to me. Like, I don't think they should have done that, but like at the same time, I get it.
That was a little too far because, in my opinion, it's like people were rushing them, and B, like they knew. Yeah, it's like you knew what was gonna happen. You rushed a game. You bought it with your own money willingly. That's your fault.
Actually, not quite. There's a little more that goes into that. This will only take a little bit.
True.
Basically, the Cyberpunk production started around the end of Witcher 3's production, which was eons ago. And the whole thing was they were shooting for a 2020 release date because the tabletop game it's based on is called Cyberpunk 2020.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the devs were like, we can't finish this by 2020, around 2018. The board was like, you're releasing it in 2020. I don't care if it's finished or not. This is my design. It's a Hannibal reference.
Yeah.
This is my design. And so that's why it kept getting pushed because they were like trying to make, that's why it didn't get released, I think, until like November or December of 2020.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it kept getting pushed.
I got you.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's actually really it's the board of directors. They're the biggest to blame here.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is. Like what fans were doing is unfair, but we can't sit here and actually
Yeah,
act like the fans had a thing to do with it.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, it is shitty though that they're like all these fans who are like fuck crunch culture, and then they're like, "Where's my damn game?" It's like, hey man, can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Speaking of having your cake and eating it too, Hideo Kojima. The very definition of that phrase completes Metal Gear 5, releases it unfinished, it wins a ton of awards. Konami doesn't care, he doesn't care, he's leaving. But right before he leaves, at that very E3, he does another bullshitteroo and pretends that he's another company.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, like I think it was some year, it was like 1914 Studios or something. I'm that's totally wrong, but it was something like that. And they published this game called PT, and they're like, it's out on the eShop now. I say eShop, PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
And people download it, and it's this like really fucking weird game where you're in a hallway and
yeah, I remember this. Yeah, because nobody knew it was Silent Hill at the time. Because I remember that when that first finally got leaked.
Oh man. But you'll notice that the order of events that I've described are a little different than what you probably expected in that case.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really cool about PT, other than it being genuinely one of the most terrifying games I have ever played, which sucks that we can't play it now. Like,
yeah,
that's well, I can. It would require a bit of work though.
Yeah.
I totally can play it. I think my uncle has a PlayStation with the game installed on it.
You know, people were selling their PlayStations with PT installed on it. Yeah.
I mean, it's remember the whole bullshit with the iPhone and Flappy Bird in like 2015 or some shit?
Mm-hmm,
It's the same thing, except this one was actually worth something. This one was actually a piece of history.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It took people about 3 months to beat the game. This is a half-hour game if you know what you're doing. It took people 3 months to solve the last puzzle.
Jesus.
Like the internet as a whole, it took them 3 months. That might not sound like a long time to our listeners, but
no, that's an internet time? That's a long time.
Pokemon Arceus came out about a week ago. The same day I saw people talking about the ending, secret tricks for the ending, Easter eggs, cheat codes. The very same day, people had already broken down the game in its entirety.
Yeah.
And that game is dozens of hours long, depending on how you're playing it. PET was a half-hour long bullshit game. And it took people 3 months to figure out the final puzzle. And in fact, there is still no definitive solution.
Oh, really?
To this day, there is no definitive solution to the final puzzle. There are a couple things you can try, and hopefully one of them will work.
Wow.
It's crazy. They've got it almost down to a science. I think they're still working on it. But it's the main reason that like a huge port of the game hasn't been finished is because that last puzzle still, if you can't even figure out how to solve it consistently, how the hell are you gonna code it in, right?
Yeah.
It's some bizarre thing too. It's like you have to walk 10 steps forward, wait for a baby's laugh, walk 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, wait for a woman to cry, wait for another baby to laugh, pick up the phone, look at a photo, pause for 3 seconds. It's insane. I think at one point
Really?
you have to use your PlayStation microphone and like whisper a name into it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That sounds on brand because wasn't like you're gonna have to forgive me, my ignorance, but like wasn't there one where like Psycho Mantis would actually fuck with your memory card and shit like that in your controller?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very much on brand with Kojima's type of fuckery.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually some stuff about Silent Hills that came out later that like would have amplified that even more, but I'll mention that after the story. Um, anyways, people finally beat it, mostly by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to know how they figured out how to beat it, to be honest.
Yeah, that must have been a grueling process.
About a 3 months long process, even.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but the game, eventually got beaten, and it showed a trailer for Silent Hills. Titled that because an S is reminiscent of a 5. So it would have been it would have been the first numbered title in, I believe, 10 years.
Wow.
Which is nothing against, like, Metroid Prime 5 showing up after Metroid Prime 4 was 20 years ago. But, like, that's beside the point. Silent Hill is a beloved franchise that got done dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And this was going to be the next step. Anyways, it shows this trailer starring Norman Reedus.
I knew it.
Without his amazing fetus. And it's literally just him walking through the town of Silent Hill, which back when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my god, that's this street. Because like I recognized the street from Silent Hill 2. Which actually, it was going to be a continuation of Silent Hill 2.
Oh, okay.
Because there's actually some shenanigans with Silent Hill storyline. 2 is the odd one out. 1, 3, and 4 have one continuous story.
Oh, all right.
There's a lot of reasons for that. Konami had a lot of fuckery with that. I wish that they didn't have a continuous story. I wish a sequel to 2 would have happened, which would have meant a different story, and it would have turned into more of an anthology series, actually.
Yeah.
Silent Hills was supposed to be in the vein of 2, where it was a completely separate story. Really cool shit. But as I'm sure you've realized if you've been listening to any capacity, the game had already been canceled almost a year prior.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2014. The game got canceled in late 2013.
Damn.
This was his great fuck you. The reason he made the final puzzle so cryptic to beat was so that no one at Konami would realize what it was until it was already out there.
Mm-hmm.
And once it was already out there, I mean, Konami took it off the store, but
by then, damage was done.
The damage is already done. The thing is, this game hadn't even been technically announced.
Mm-hmm.
It had been leaked. It had begun production and was canceled without any announcements whatsoever. So the people took this as an announcement of the next game.
Yep.
Which was his intention. 100%. And then people sat around waiting for it. Because Konami wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And so it wasn't until Kojima dropped the trailer for Death Stranding that people realized, oh, this game's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was heartbreaking, I must say. As a fan, it was very heartbreaking.
Oh, for sure. Because I was a fan too. That was intense, that playable teaser.
Yes, it was incredible. And no one knew it stood for playable teaser until like almost a year after it came out. And the thing is, the PT is actually a self-contained story. It was never going to be a part of the bigger game.
Yeah.
which actually if you've played PT, but if you analyze PT, there's a lot of stuff in there that finds its way into Death Stranding. A lot of thematic elements. The game, I mean, other than the obvious, there's a crying fetus in the sink, there's a crying fetus on Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Which I love Death Stranding, by the way. I know that's not exactly a popular take, so I understand.
Yeah.
I understand people not liking it.
Mhm.
But I'm about as un-American as you can get, so I love that game. Fun fact, that's actually like Kojima. This game, Death Stranding, did terribly in America.
Yeah,
And
no,
he was
it,
and
yeah.
he was like straight up, he was like, well, yeah, American people are more concerned with shooters like Call of Duty. They don't give a shit about actual storytelling.
I have to disagree with that, but
I wouldn't disagree. I'm not saying I would 100% agree, but he's got some. He's
no,
on
he's got a point. That statement has merit. It's just it's not entirely true though.
right. Like it's one of those statements. It's like you're not wrong, but I can't really agree with you
Yeah.
completely.
No, I mean he absolutely has a point. You know, Battlefield, Halo, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, you know, all I completely understand that. But, you
Yeah,
know,
I
I mean, a
mean,
lot of his games have also done really well over here too.
exactly.
So it's
It's and a lot of it's also just Death Stranding is a very polarizing game from the get go. There is
yeah.
no gameplay past walking. Granted, I personally think it turns walking into an extremely in depth and interesting mechanic. It is not simply hold forward,
Yeah.
which is something I greatly appreciate. If it was simply hold forward, I probably wouldn't like it as much.
Mhm.
But also the story it tells, I really like it. It's flawed, but that's kind of the point. I feel like it's very human. As a game, I think its purpose was to define humanity, and I think it did that really well.
Okay.
Um, it's I enjoy the story. Yes, it's flawed. Again, I think that's part of the charm.
Fair enough.
Um, that being said, Death Stranding was also his fuck you to Konami. Because as I'm sure you've picked up on if you are aware of Death Stranding in the slightest, one, it's got a bunch of baby themes, which PT did, as well as Silent Hill in general has always had some sort of themes relating to that. A lot of interesting shit.
Mhm.
Um, it also has Norman Reedus, and it has Guillermo del Toro, and it even has Junji Ito as a side quest character. And it's even got some members of Team Silent also as side quest characters.
Now that I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So Junji Ito is like just some dude who you deliver something to in Death Stranding. And his name isn't Junji Ito, but if you look at him and then you look at a picture of Junji Ito, it's like, oh shit, okay. Yeah.
Could make it
So,
too obvious now.
right, yeah. I mean, Guillermo del Toro is one of the main fucking characters. There's no getting around that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's very clear that he took his love and passion for what he was doing on Silent Hill and he put it into Death Stranding.
Mhm.
Um, which again, the way I would describe Death Stranding, it is an incredible game that I cannot, in good conscience, recommend to a single soul. Um, because it is whether or not it's good is entirely subjective, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's a little more subjective with this game. So it's really hard to recommend to people, but if you're into trying new shit, I recommend trying it. There's actually a new version coming out, or has come out for the PS5, where they added a lot more stealth sections.
Mm.
Which I haven't played that yet. I have a PS5, but I haven't played it yet. Man. But yeah, no. Silent Hills.
That's
What a game.
that is a crock of shit, man. That sucks.
Exactly. It's man, let me tell you. We're talking about a kick in the balls, my guy.
Right?
Blue get Get blue balled.
I think the worst part about it is like, um, they didn't learn their lesson.
Nope, they didn't. They just
Be-
kept on going. Yep.
because like, what was it? Metal Gear Survive or something like
Oh
that
my
came out,
god, that was awful. No,
and
you
it
want
was.
to you want to know what the real proof they didn't learn their lesson was? The existence of Silent Hill pachinko.
Oh no,
Yep,
that's not a thing.
it is. They turned Silent Hill into a pachinko game.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Yeah,
Hang
yeah. Here,
on.
here. I'll look it up too. Yep.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yep. It is terrible in every way.
Oh boy.
Yep. You know what? It came out in 2015, the year
Yeah.
after PT and all that bullshit happened.
What made them think that was a good idea?
I mean, what made them think Metal Gear Survive was a good idea?
That's a good point.
It's purely, it's at this point, cash grabs are what they are trying to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh huh. It's all about that change in. It's all about that change in management.
Konami needs to get fucking with it, my man.
With what though?
Just
That's the no. That's the thing. With what? With who? They are simply following what every other major games company is doing. Except,
yeah.
I would say Microsoft is a little bit different,
Mm,
and Sony too. Sony to an extent.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I
Did
mean,
they just
Sony
got Bungie
funded.
too, right?
Yeah, Sony funded Death Stranding. By the way, that game wouldn't have happened without Sony.
Wow.
Uh huh. Let me tell you. I remember when Death Stranding's final trailer dropped, and it was 8 minutes long. And I watched every second of it, and it felt like watching a movie trailer, which I should have guessed was a foreshadowing for the game that was to come, which is
Yeah.
basically a 60 to 120 hour long film.
Mhm.
God, the final cutscene was like an hour long.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Hearing about it, I thought you said you beat it.
Beat PT? No, I never beat PT.
I said Death
Oh,
Stranding.
No, I never beat Death Stranding.
Okay.
Remember you were like, "Did you beat it?" And I was like, "No." And you were like, "How could you have this opinion and all that good shit?"
Well, at the time, I was also tired and not having a great time in the car.
Oh, that's yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You
yeah.
fuckers were vaping directly into my face.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, so like, okay, this is completely off topic
Oh,
now.
that's fine. The topic is over. We can do
Yeah.
whatever.
So
I'm actually gonna sit back down.
yeah, fair. So context for the folks. I think I don't remember who set it up actually. Who thought of this? But we went and hung out, and was that the day I overslept?
Yes,
Okay.
which is actually one of the crimes I was referring to at the beginning of the episode.
So then it was me. I was like, "Hey, we should all go hang out."
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, "Yeah, sure." After like 2 o'clock, and I remember I got off work early, and I
Okay.
came home, and I laid in bed and was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna relax a little bit, chill, whatever." And then I fucking passed out.
I hate you.
Uh, yeah, that's on me. That's fair. I knowing myself, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, we meet at a park. We go chill. We go get food. Uh, all was well and good until because we had Sir Chris of Francis driving us. Because I didn't want to drive. Carl didn't want to drive, so that just left him. Um, but
I can't drive, by the way.
yeah, yeah, our boy here cannot drive. But I also needed gas too. But
Mhm.
me and Chris, we're I'll admit it because it's true. We're douchebags. We
Yes,
vape.
they are.
We vape because it's better than just regular smoking.
shitty friends all the actually it's not, but yeah.
I mean, so it's socially more accepted, and
Socially accepted more, yes, but
yeah,
health wise and actually, so smoking is bad for your physical health. Vaping is worse for your mental health.
yeah,
It's actually been known to cause anxiety spikes so high it has literally killed people from heart attacks.
yeah. No, I would know. Yeah, I
And yet
can.
you still fucking do it.
It's an addiction. I can't stop.
Best way to stop is to just toss that shit away.
I know. I
You
know. That's
can't
how.
you can't wean off of it. You know, when you dropped it outside of Walmart, I was actually about to run over there and stomp on it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean a good friend of mine, or an old friend of mine, took his and just dunked it in a glass of water.
Yep.
But see, the thing is I'd be around Chris,
Yeah.
and and then I'd probably just end up buying another one. I'm not gonna lie
Okay.
to you.
Fuck it, break his too.
If only. We'll get to that. We can actually stage an intervention for that if it comes to it. But anyway, me and Chris, we atomize, um, and because of this, like we're just so used to being in the car, like just by ourselves and doing it. And a lot of the time, like when it's just me and him, we do it, and a lot of times when it's just me, him, and obligatory fourth member, we do it. Um, so it was just kind of whatever. We were just comfortable doing it in the car, especially with the windows up, because it just kind of dissipates. That and it was cold. Um, so we were just doing it, and it was getting into Jonas's face. We, I assume it was mostly Chris's, because you were right behind him, I think. But it could have also
No,
just
I
been
was
the
in the
vent.
middle. I was in the middle.
Oh, that's even worse
So
because you were
both.
getting straight both.
Yep.
I was gonna say if it wasn't just Chris's, like the vent would have probably carried a lot of mine back too. Um, but yeah, so that was just not fun because he was just getting straight up secondhand vape to the face. Um,
Dude,
and we
I
weren't.
I was
Go
out
ahead.
of it for that whole car ride. I was just like glass eyed and I was just like barely breathing.
I'm so sorry. Like the thing is like we weren't doing it to be mean or anything. Like we genuinely didn't realize it was that big a problem. Because like I said, we're just used to it. Like that's not an excuse, but like we're just that used to it. Like I've been doing it this entire podcast so far.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
yeah,
figured.
yeah, and I'll acknowledge it's not a good thing, and I need to stop. And I've tried to stop several times, but just have not done it because I've been too weak. Um,
I'll be your strength.
thanks. But yeah,
It is
so
like I do recognize it's difficult. I've
it is
actually
difficult.
I've helped more than one person stop.
Yeah.
It
So
is a fucking struggle.
on behalf of both Chris and I will apologize. I know you would like to hear it specifically from him, but I am sorry. I
Truly,
did.
okay, look, okay. You'll notice I did not say a single word about it though.
Yeah. Carl was eventually the one who got us to stop. Well, you should have said something in my.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
okay,
it's listen.
like
I am a very I'm a very complex human being with lots of thoughts and feelings and emotions, and I'll
of
have you
course,
know. um,
of course.
but no, I genuinely just could not bring myself to say anything.
I mean, that's understandable. I just didn't want you to suffer in silence there if it was that bad. You
Neither
know?
did Carla.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
I'm glad she told us because, like, again, you would have just had to deal with it all the way back to the park.
yeah, and I think Birdie was glad too, to be honest.
Yeah. So
Poor
I
Birdie.
will make it a point to not do that with you in the car
Yeah,
again. And if I do, I will have the window down.
yeah,
But I will definitely make it an effort to not do that with the car. I'm genuinely sorry.
yeah. Chris was like so annoyed with Carla.
No, he really was, and so like we actually talked about it. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think yesterday, right? Because your brother's birthday was yesterday, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was me, him, and Savani. Yeah, we went to go get food and drinks and shit. Um, on the way back home after I dropped, or I'm sorry, obligatory fourth member. After I dropped him off, I was dropping Chris off, and he was like, "So yeah, about yesterday, or about the other day," and I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he was like, I was annoyed for like he was more annoyed. He acknowledged that he was more annoyed than he should have been. He
Mm-hmm.
was like I don't know why, but like that just got to me. He was like it's because like it was his car and you know it was the whole thing, but he was like, yeah, no, it shouldn't have got to me as much as it did, but for whatever reason it just it bugged the shit out of me. I was like, I'm sorry, man. It is, we have to be considerate of other people as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think he understands. I don't know if you're gonna get an apology out of him,
Oh, I don't really care, to be honest.
but it's there. I mean, but I care. I don't want to be. I get that I'm like rude and an asshole sometimes, but like I don't want
Oh,
to be that much
100%.
of an. I don't want to be that much of an asshole to where it's like you're
Yeah.
breathing in my grossness. I want to be an asshole to you because like I love you and that's how I show my affection.
Of course, of course. That is the bro code.
Yeah, but
Well, it's and like obviously I don't judge people too harshly for vaping. You are
mhm,
my friend.
mhm,
Um, but it is at odds with me as a person because like I am genuinely like, and I'm not saying don't vape around me. I get it.
mhm.
But like all that stuff, like vaping, smoking. Well, smoking less so. Like smoking cigarettes
Why is
for
that?
whatever reason. I suspect it has something to do with nostalgia, but that's beside the point. I'm not gonna not gonna
Mhm.
get into that. The point is, I find cigarette smell very nostalgic. But
It's fair.
fucking, uh, fuck, for the first time in this episode, I've lost my train of thought completely. Just completely and totally.
um.
Yes. But yeah, like vaping, weed, even a lot of drinking to an extent
Mhm.
makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. To a huge extent, and a lot of it's because like obviously, yes, you can't really get addicted to weed, but
Mhm.
for the other things like there have been too many people in my life with those kinds of addictions who I have seen terrible, terrible things happen to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I oh,
We don't have to get into it, man.
no, I I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will tell you after the podcast.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, you do not have to say
No,
anything
no,
about this
it
one.
is something that specifically just occurred.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, man, the timing of that, holy shit. I'm not cutting that out, but
That's fine.
man, oh, I want you to know this is my self-indulgent episode.
Meaning.
I will sit there and I will edit in the intro. I'll fade out an outro, but I am not cutting anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, I will even take. I know we shouldn't be discussing pay. I will take less pay if I have to. This is a self-indulgent episode as fuck.
No, it's
um,
it's it's all good, man. You've done amazing on all the episodes you have edited. So I actually want to talk about that a little bit
okay,
because because okay, I'll get into it. But
yeah, let's go ahead.
so for everybody who doesn't know, this is Jonas Lucenium. He is straight up just the editor for this entire podcast.
Hmm.
He's edited so far all except one, which is the raw one, and that was I even the editing in that was me, but I just added some music and stitched some the audio files together. That was it.
I'll be honest. I still haven't listened to it. I've meant to. I haven't.
It's all good.
I
It's
probably will eventually, but like I don't know. It might be a while.
Yeah. But so the thing I want to get on or to get here is like I know I shouted you out like in the second episode.
I remember that.
Um
I remember that.
uh but
I was blushing.
I do want to give you like your whole like credit here cuz like you've done amazing work.
Did I say
And
was? I meant am.
no, like you've genuinely done amazing work and I send you like sometimes for whatever reason the audio will come in two parts and you'll still make it work. And the one that just went up today um was super long and you managed to take the ramblings of two absolute madmen who don't know how to speak and make it sound coherent.
Did you listen to
Um
it?
I did actually.
Oh wow.
Not in its entirety, but I can having been there, like and done the actual recording, I can tell the you've taken out a lot of the silences and all that nonsense. Um, and then obviously you know we talked about it while you were mid editing, and like
Yeah.
just the amounts of like dead silence that he and I leave and the way we just can't communicate. Like the fact that you can take that and make it sound coherent and good
I had to
is
rearrange entire sentences
yeah,
at
yeah.
a time. It
I
was
wanna
insane.
I wanna give credit where credit is due. Like Jonas is responsible for making this podcast sound good, because otherwise it would be me and it would be garbage. And it would take so much longer too. So I
It's
want
not like it doesn't take long enough already.
yeah, and that's the thing too is like you have a life. You've got a girlfriend, you've got other friends, you want a game, you have work, but you're taking time out of that. And I understand that I'm paying you, but like you're taking time out of it to still do it. And like that's another thing too is like when um when I initially asked you to do it, I wasn't expecting you to say yes at all.
Really?
Yeah, I was expecting you. Obviously, you weren't gonna like turn me down like horribly, but I expected
Go
you to
fuck
say
yourself.
something. I expected you to say something along the lines of, "Nah, man, I won't really have time for that," or that's I have too many other things that I'm working on, or something along those lines. Just like a polite but firm no.
Okay.
Um, but when you said yes, I was genuinely ecstatic because I was sitting there like, oh man, that's I don't have to. Not so much that I don't have to do it, but so much that like it's gonna sound good because the entire reason I went to you was because you know that entire process, like the like
Yeah.
what's the word?
Sound
Yeah,
engineering.
sound engineering.
For those who
But
don't know, I was a theater tech in high school, and I worked on the scores and music and sound cueing for most of our plays for the last couple of years that I was there, as
he
well as
also
I'm a producer.
he also makes his own. Yeah, he makes his own music. It's Lucenium on Spotify, and it's genuinely good music. Like
Or
no cap.
wherever you listen to music,
Or yeah,
I would hesitate to call most of it good, but like,
no, it's good. I've gone through like uh on the app. It shows you your most recent searches. Yours is at the very top because I go to it so often.
really, you actually listen to me.
I
Interesting.
listen to you. I genuinely listen to you because I want. So me and Jonas here are actually attempting to get a demo out, which is another thing I need to talk to you about later on after the
Waiting on
the
you for that.
yeah, I know you are, but there's a lot going on there. We were attempting to get a demo out. Um, but yeah, I go to there just to get a feel of like what your music is.
I recommend listening to the two newest songs I have
Yeah.
because I don't like most of the previous ones.
It's fair.
I think it's like called like Caves and Sunset River or some
Mhm.
shit like that. I don't even remember. I'll
But
be
yeah,
honest. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. No cap. I made those songs like a year and a half ago and just kept forgetting to publish them.
but yeah, no, this entire part here, this entire segment is just me fully giving you all the credit you deserve
It's
and
just me
shouting you out.
crying. It is just me crying. I am
Cause
in
like,
tears.
cause genuinely, no, I highly appreciate you. Don't know how much it means to me that you edit this stuff, and that's why I try not to rush you, and I feel bad about sending you super long audio, even though you say it's okay. It's like you're doing me a favor here, and I understand I'm paying you, but you're seriously doing me a favor here, and you're helping me out, and it's an amazing thing that I seriously, I just appreciate. So thank you so much for putting up with all this bullshit and listening to
You're good. You're easy.
several hours of nonsense over
Several
and
more
over and over.
hours than anyone who listens to the podcast
Oh,
will
for
ever
sure.
have to experience.
And it's not just that
You
too.
would
It's like,
know when to stop fucking talking.
yeah, it's not just that too. It's like you've also given me a bunch of new ideas for later episodes too. So you're just as much a part of this podcast, like creative wise as I am. And I, considering that this was meant to be just for me and Chris, I am very surprised about that.
I tend to do that.
But no, I mean, I'm glad you're doing it because they're good ideas. I genuinely have them written down, and I cannot wait to implement them.
All right, yeah,
Um,
next group episode, we'll see.
yeah. So I'm thank you is the gist of what I'm saying.
You're welcome.
Anyway, enough stroking your dick. I don't know how long you want this to be. We are at about an hour 11.
We can keep going.
All right, all right. I think we'll cut it off at about maybe hour and a half, at most hour 45.
Sure, sounds good. It's really only been an hour. What the hell?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bonkers to me.
Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah.
so whenever you would read off like your timer during the previous episodes, I'd look at the timestamp on where like I'm editing and I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like,
Yeah,
like
I
you'd be
actually
like, well, we're actually at an hour and a half, and I'd be like, fuck, it's at an hour and 10. What am I meant to do here?
I'm sorry. I know in one of them I've gotten relatively close cuz like I was saying, "Oh, we're like an hour 10 minutes in," and it's like an hour and 12 or an hour and
Yeah, you're
13.
pretty close, pretty close.
But yeah, I didn't realize that it would be that drastically different sometimes. Um Again, another thing I have to I have to give you credit for. But
Oh.
yeah, another sad thing is for those of you who are out there listening, I'm sure you've noticed the solo episodes or the one-on-one episodes. So that's a little bit of a gimmick I've started. I'm not gonna take full credit for that idea. It was actually obligatory fourth member. Um, so Chris has his, Jonas is gonna have his, or this one. Carl's gonna have hers. Maybe Birdie if he's down for it. I don't know. And then obligatory fourth member is also gonna have his because it was his idea. The issue, however, was that me being a complete dumbass,
They already did. I
we
just
did
want
it.
you to know. This is
Like,
canonically the 6th episode.
this is canonically the sixth episode. The fifth was absolutely done. It was done. That was it. I sent the same day I sent episode 4 to Jonas. We started recording episode 5. Um, and because of that, the way we record these, I will lose the audio after 7 days if I don't download it. Um, Completely forgot that, slipped my mind. Like I knew subconsciously it was a thing. I just didn't pay too much attention to it.
Oh, trust me, I've
Uh,
had the same thing happen to me
yeah.
before.
That was 8 days ago.
Uh-huh.
From obviously this will come out later, but from the time that we were recording this, that was 8 days ago, and so I no longer have access to that audio. No cap, about 2.5 to 3 hours worth of content simply gone.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Obligatory fourth was very upset.
he was upset. So, um, I don't. We're gonna have to do something different because there's no way we're gonna get the same effect. So
No,
I'll go
you're
ahead
not.
and
You're
I'll
not.
go ahead and tell you what it is or what we were doing. We did a tier list, and the thing about this episode was that we were gonna release it, the tier list itself, to the Instagram page, and which reminds me, I need to make a post about episode 4 coming out. We were gonna release it and have you guys' thoughts, put a poll, all that good shit, and see just to see what happens to get some interaction between everybody.
Mhm.
And it was like I said, it's like 2 to 3 hours, 96 different so it was chips, 96 or 97 different bags of chips.
Are you fucking kidding me? It was bags
Yeah,
of. You didn't even
bag.
tell me this.
I didn't. It's in the Discord. You can check. It's in the group chat.
It was bags of chips. You
Yeah.
motherfuckers! You were gonna make me sit there and
And
edit the
listen to
podcast of
two and a
you
half hours.
motherfuckers making bags of chips. You know what? I'm glad that's gone.
Yeah, that's why it was funny to us, because we were like, well, see, the thing is too is you couldn't make very many cuts because the entire time is just talking. Like there's like me and Chris, we stutter a lot. We have silences. Me, an obligatory fourth member, did not have a single minute of that. It was from start to finish. I set it up. I said, here's how it's gonna work. We're not just gonna nostalgia. We're not just gonna pick a chip and put it in a place and then not explain it. No, each individual bag, I did the math. On average, got about 1.8 minutes individually of pure explanation.
You piece of shit.
So yeah, that tier list caused some controversy with me, obligatory fourth character member, and Chris, and some other people at the Chili's restaurant. So I'll tell that story. Fuck it, why not?
You were at a Chili's restaurant doing this?
No. So we recorded it. We had the list and everything,
Okay.
and Chris had seen it in the chat because I wanted you guys to. Well, you guys would have seen it, but Chris was like, "I have some words for y'all," and so he and I had already had a couple drinks on us at this point. So we were a little more, I guess, open, and so we were talking about it. We're going through the list, kind of like how you and I did with the game one. And it gets a little bit more heated.
That was fun. Yo, what if we just sat there and like did a series of critiquing tier lists?
Yeah, we could.
That'd be funny.
Chris actually wants to do an episode where he and I react to the reactions of the Raw episode and how people took that.
God.
Yeah. But anywho, we have a friend who works at that Chili's. His name is also Chris. We'll call him Chris S. Or Chris 2. We'll call him Chris 2. He also works there, so he got in on it, and then one of his coworkers got in on it.
Oh
and another coworker got in on it. So we were at Chili's at like 9 in the at night with like I barely touched. I ordered a burger, this big ass burger. Barely touched it because I was too busy arguing. So it was a whole deal, and it would have been super cool to see like everybody's placements and what they thought and all that good shit. Now I'm thinking if I can figure it out, I would like to. So the way I have it set up right now is I have it's full screen on my second monitor of just like our little squares.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do, hopefully, is have that like maybe take up a section of a screen of like a corner or whatever, and then the rest of it be a tier list, and we could do it live.
So do like an overlay.
Mm-hmm. And then we do it live on YouTube and set up a chat and let.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
dozens of you.
There's one series called Every Frame a Pause I listen to. It does a similar thing.
Yeah, so that would be cool.
They'll go through movies and like pause every couple of seconds to talk about whatever bullshit is happening in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. It's a really fun podcast. I love that podcast. I just love hearing them go on rages about movies and how stupid they are. It's new movies too, like all the new Star Wars movies. Black Widow, they did one on.
Nice.
Yeah, good shit.
A lot of shit I gotta check out. But yeah,
well, really, that you shouldn't check out in the case of Black Widow.
Yeah, well, I've actually seen Black Widow.
You poor soul.
Yeah, it was weird. But anywho, yeah. So I've lost the audio. That's all on me, 100%. So he will get his own episode. We'll have to re-record something. I don't think it's going to be another tier list because we're not going to sit there for 3. I'm not doing it.
If you do, I'm cutting it into 2 parts.
That's fair.
I almost cut episode 4 into 2 parts.
Oh really?
Very nearly cut it into 2 parts. Yep.
Oh, well, honestly, I give you for the most part free reign when you edit. So if that's what it came to, as long as you told me, um, I would have given you most likely given you the okay for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you'll have your episode. Unfortunately, for obligatory fourth member, yours will come out first. You will be episode 5.
Let's go.
Let's go, and then maybe Carl, and maybe fourth member again, or that. So that's kind of thrown a wrench into it. I don't know when we'll. It'll probably be him first because he's free more often.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm very interested now to see what he will do, and what Carl will do, because Carl and I are very similar in the sense that we're very introverted.
I don't think anyone will ever beat my introduction though
To this one,
of this current episode.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't pay a single bit of attention to it. I
No,
cannot
no, no,
wait
no,
to hear
no.
it.
What happened after?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was something. That was interesting.
Yep.
Uh, man,
I'll
man,
be
man.
honest. That was about the third or fourth idea I had. The first one was I was just gonna hook up my piano and be playing improv piano the entire episode. Just gonna be improv jazz piano. It's gonna be awful, but it was gonna be at least listenable.
Oh God. Oh
I
no.
might, I might do that for a future episode.
Maybe.
There's
I
a
don't.
lot of, there's a lot of things I could do.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I have planned that I really cannot wait to get done because I know there's an episode I want of you and Chris.
That will be something special.
Yeah, like I want to be there. I know you want it to just be you two, but I really want to be there just to hear it as it happens. Like I probably won't say much. I just want to be there.
Yeah.
God, I cannot wait for that. And then obviously like the solo or the one-on-ones, and then I really want to get to the point where we can implement the new ideas because I
Our new
really would like.
ideas in the
Yeah,
group episode. Yeah. I feel like it, because I feel like on a one-on-one the ideas wouldn't really work so well.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think the one-on-one ideas are really, they kind of encapsulate like what
The
uh
original idea was.
yeah, what Dude Stop Talking was what's meant to be, cuz like in episode, like honestly episodes 3 and 4 is no joke 100% the original idea in its complete form.
Yep.
That is exactly what it was meant to be in its entirety. I'm glad. I should have done a pilot episode like that to give an idea, but I have no regrets about the way we've done it
Yeah,
thus far.
I think it's fine. Especially
Yeah.
because the idea is going to keep changing and evolving as the podcast goes. I don't think it's necessarily always the greatest idea to become super attached to one specific idea.
Yeah. But I do think that I will continue to do
Yeah.
obviously these one-on-ones because it is what the original idea was. Obviously it'll change, but I genuinely do like these because I've
We
learned
can't
about you.
always be Scott the fucking Waz and
Yeah.
be perfect from day fucking one.
Yeah.
Like that he is, he inspires me to be a YouTuber, but he's also the single reason I haven't become one yet because you can't beat that.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you miss.
I thought about being Scott the Waz for music,
Yeah.
but that already exists.
Well, there's no more original ideas, my man.
His name is Mike the Snare.
Wow.
And he's specifically, like, I've actually watched it for years, and he specifically stated that his biggest inspiration is Scott the Waz, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That being said, Mike the Snare is a hilarious guy. He's Scott the Waz for music.
Shout out to Mike the Snare.
So he does this really cool series I adore. It's called the Deep Discog Dive, and he'll pick an artist and he will go in and analyze and rank every single album.
Nice.
He did one for David Bowie.
Wow. Jesus.
All 26-ish albums.
Wow. But yeah, man. I mean, good. I say you go for it. You be a YouTuber.
I plan on. I'm trying to do something musical. I have this idea, and the more I talk about it, the more I debate actually starting it.
Well,
Um, of ranking and like going into detail, in depth ranking every single Radiohead song on albums. I'm not gonna do like single exclusives.
hmm I mean,
Because then I mean, I could as like a side episode, but like in the main series, I'll just do like the main. I think it's seven, eight, nine albums. I think it's 9 albums.
I say go for it. You
Because let's
miss
see, it's
100% of the shots you don't take.
let's see, because it's Pablo Honey, The Bends, OK Computer, Kid A, Amnesiac, Hail to the Thief, and Rainbows. Um, King of Limbs, and then a moon-shaped pool. Yeah, it's only 9 albums.
If it makes you feel any better, this idea is not original either. Um, well,
No,
obviously for
there are no
obvious
original
reasons.
ideas.
But Chris and his online friend, who I'm only slightly acquainted with, had the exact same idea as I did. I just somehow managed to beat him to the punch.
You did something about it.
Yeah. Like I obviously I didn't know about it ahead of time. Like after I pitched the idea to Chris, then he was like, "Oh yeah, me and Gabe were thinking about that." And I was like, "Well, shit. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do something about it though."
yeah. I'm gonna do my Radiohead idea. Shout out to Radiohead.
Yeah, go for it. Go do
Shout
your
out to
Radiohead
fucking
idea.
Radiohead. You know what? Shout out to Tom York specifically, the lead singer of Radiohead, and you know what? Shout out to the lead guitarist Johnny Greenwood as well. Specifically those two. I'm not gonna name the other 3 members.
Fuck those
They're
guys.
all great. They all have good solo careers, successful solo careers, except for the bassist. His name is Colin Greenwood. I don't think he has a big solo career, to
Mm.
be completely honest. Which I don't think he wants one. He seems like he's happy where he's at.
It
Like
just
I'll be watching performances, and he just legit just seems so excited to be there.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Kind of unrelated.
Go ahead.
Did you recently start following me today on Instagram? Because I noticed like on my I have my phone hooked up to my computer like with a I don't remember what it's called, but it
A cable?
no like I
Oh.
can text, I get notifications,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can
Windows thing, yeah.
yeah. And so I noticed I looked in the at my taskbar. I have 2 notifications.
Yep.
So I pick up my phone and they're both from Instagram. By the way, this is not my personal Instagram. This is the DTS or DST Instagram. Um,
Do talking stop.
I know, right? My sister does it, so I do it a lot too.
Uh,
Um, I pick up my phone. Both are from Instagram. One is from one of the people I'm following, and the other one is you. Oh god. Oh god. But yeah, I need to make a post about the last episode.
yeah.
And then I'm probably gonna make a post. I'm gonna, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post the tier list.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain the story,
Okay.
but I still want feedback.
Do this after this episode, please.
Oh, I will. I'll probably do it
Okay.
tomorrow because
Okay.
I'm
Cool,
off
cool.
tomorrow.
But okay, so you're gonna do all that?
Yeah, but do all that, and
Oh my fucking god, Valentine's Day is in 3 days.
it is, and I'm really hoping I have that day off because I have a plan.
I think I have the day off, but I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. Like, I've got my gift. I made her something. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I did origami for about 15 years.
Jesus, I did not know that.
I got extremely good at it, and so I've occasionally made her a couple of origami things. So, like for the first Valentine's Day, I made her 2 cranes. One was the basic paper crane, and one was this really intricate paper crane with like feathers that flapped and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing was like the basic ass bitch was me, and the really intricate one was her, and it was cringe and stupid, but
Nah, that's cheesy and cute. I love it.
exactly right. Like, yeah. And so
I love that shit, man.
I've got something hopefully equivalent.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Which,
my
by the
plan.
way, don't ever get a gift from Carla.
What do you mean? What's
Her
wrong with her
gifts,
gifts?
her gifts make me feel so shitty.
Oh, because they're that good.
They're so good. I'm like, why? Like, she painted me an entire fucking panel from one of my favorite manga and framed it and gave it to me. And I was like, why?
Wow.
For our anniversary, she molded me the shade from Hollow Knight out of clay.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
then put it in like a special glass container, and then she was like, "It's so shitty. I'm sorry." And I was like, "No,
That is amazing.
it's the shade." I'll send you a picture after the episode. But like,
Bet. No,
oh my
absolutely.
god! And you know what? Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah.
bro,
That shit
why?
is insane. I had so my ex in high school, or my girlfriend in high school. Yeah, y'all hear more about that in episode 4.
Y'all
Um,
have heard more about that.
oh, it's out. Yeah, it's out. Y'all have heard it by now. But cause she was also arty too, like all artsy and shit. So, I had a ton of pictures of her. One of my favorite pictures that was my background for a little while
You.
was her in my jacket doing like some stupid pose or whatever. And she painted it for me. And for a long time, I had it hung on my wall. Yeah, man, fucking, that
Not for
was an
that long.
amazing. No, I mean for a long time because we were together for almost 3 years.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. We were engaged a
You know
lot of
what's
that time.
crazy? What's crazy is that I was actually tangentially aware of that whole situation.
Yeah, you were.
Fuck
Oh
high
boy,
school.
it was alright.
Like I just like I know you were in the last episode. You were like, I have no regrets. Like
I don't.
I would have done it the same. But like either way, that was a stupid idea. Like I don't think you can get around how stupid that was
No,
to begin with.
it was stupid.
Even if it did work out, I would have been like, you're fucking dumb.
No, it was stupid. I'm not gonna deny that. But I mean, I learned from it, and at the time, it was genuinely how I felt. So I was like, "Fuck, it, I don't give a fuck how stupid this is. I'm
I
gonna do
mean,
it."
like I can't exactly sit here and talk shit. Before Carla, I had not had a single relationship over the length of like 4 or 5 months, with a
Oof.
majority of them being 2 to 3 months.
Mm.
Yeah. Um.
Man, my shortest relationship was, I think, around 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. For a while, that was my longest.
Jesus Christ, man!
And then I went.
What are
And
you and
then
Carly going on?
in 2-ish days will be a year and 1 month.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
I
Good
wish y'all
shit.
luck.
Good shit. Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you. Oh yeah, when you were talking about the whole honeymoon phase last episode,
Mm-hmm.
it was a brief thing you mentioned, but I was like, I looked up because I was like, what the fuck is the honeymoon phase, right? I looked it up and I was like, I don't think I ever had one.
Oof.
I don't think we ever had one. And honestly though, like everywhere that I've read about honeymoon phases was like, honestly, if you don't have one, it's probably better in the long
It
run.
is. I think it is probably better in the long run.
And I was
And
like, you know what? I'll accept that.
yeah, I mean, you guys are doing just fine. So
Honestly, yeah, it's great. I think a turbulent beginning is probably the healthiest thing. Like as back-asswards as that sounds, if
yeah,
your relationship is rough in the beginning and y'all are staying with each other,
yeah, it's yeah, because like
like
you're
that's
committed, you
love
figure it
right
out.
there.
Yeah,
That's love right there. You
yeah.
know,
I think that's a big issue is that I've had is that all of my relationships have very much had a honeymoon phase and an extended one too.
like
Um,
see, and I'm not gonna get too into deep into this. This is a personal shit.
mhm.
But I will like it's like yes, it is personal, but like I'll be completely honest here. From the get go,
Uh-oh.
it was anxiety and stress up the wazoo. For those, oh man, I don't know how to. You
You,
know
you
what?
don't you don't have to get into it, man. I mean I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you know what I'm talking
She
about.
filled me in,
Yeah, yeah.
so I get you.
Man, it was a mildly turbulent relationship.
It was a time. I'm glad it worked out though.
Oh yeah, I'm glad it did too. Especially, whew, man, I no.
Yeah, we'll stray out of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
you
let's get
know,
out of that. So let's go to a less difficult topic. So Black Lives Matter, right?
of course. So I, oh Chris.
Oh God,
Anyway, so we've been going for a little while now. I think
what's it been?
I have us at 135.
Yeah, that seems a pretty good spot to end it.
Yeah. So I think we should wrap it up. Um Shout out to everybody who we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Scott the Waz, Mike the Snare,
Tom
uh
York and Johnny Greenwood,
Tom
who
York, Johnny
actually
Greenwood.
they have a side band called The Smile.
Shout outs to
It's
the Smile.
really good. I might show you a song or two after this.
All right. Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out to who, Michael? Huh? Oh. He finally passed out. Yeah. Well, guess he's out. I gave him some chloroform when I kidnapped him, and it didn't work in the slightest. So I guess just. Yep. Well, on that note, shout out to everyone who listened. Bye 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 bye.